took it all the way back down, that's why. And this is half a turn. See, that engine's still sputting. Full turn, that means it's a full turn. I did another half a turn. Not bad. Let's go a quarter turn. So it's gonna be a full turn and a quarter. It might be a full turn and a quarter that maybe balances enough. Yeah, we'll probably keep it at full turn and a quarter now. We tried to do the other half a turn, it didn't make any more sense to us. It just didn't feel like it's giving enough more power. So right now, see where my screwdriver is, see there? It's in the flat side. Normally a half turn will bring it like this. Another half turn will bring it like this again. And then anything with a quarter turn will be like this. So here we go, you can see there. I can turn it. It's in this position. So we got full turn and a quarter, okay? So this is probably where we're gonna keep it at. All right, so that in our tuning video for right now on, if you wanna know what jets I use, it's a 125 main jet, and then the main jet is somewhere here in the center. And then the pilot jet or idle jet or slow jet, that's 25. Am I right? Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry, 42. 42 is my idle jet, and 125 is my main jet. So 125 main jet and 42 idle jet. That's what I'm currently running right now with the GY6, or you know, it's universal. You can use that whatever you can fit it on. It's the OKO brand, PWK style flat carb, which there's a flat side right here. That's why they call it flat. 30mm carburetor with a 30mm K&N air filter, or a 2-inch diameter opening, and also a 32mm Naruto intake manifold attached to a 180, or actually 232 high-torq big bore kit head, but a 180 SSPG cylinder head. So we got the two that actually mashed together, and so far it didn't actually, you know, chip away at our piston. So the piston notching was actually, it fit. A 232 Tata cylinder head with the 180 SSPG cylinder head. And we've been recording now for a good 33 minutes of the engine running. And I think our idle now, normally it was at about 40 minutes, is when we start seeing the oil start acting up and shooting up. So we're gonna keep it at a full turn and a quarter right now, and let's go ahead and wait for another 10 more minutes to see if the oil acts up, because last time in our other video, it started acting up at about, yeah, in about 40 minutes. So, and then after that, if everything checks out well, which it should, we're gonna go and start dismantling the front. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to take this off eventually anyway. I'll think it'll make my job easier. This little area here, I think I can get the tie strap fairly easy, but if I remove this section, it'll allow me to get those 1, 2, 3 tie straps off, and maybe possibly 4 here, but they're probably not. It's not tied to 4th here. So you can see here, because we got to reroute our new brake lines. We're going to install again the same brand, the same OKO brand. We just had a defective one, unfortunately. And I should have replaced it and tried to fix it with JB Weld. Don't try JB Weld anything in the brake area, especially when it's near the brake fluid. More than likely, the JB Weld, like brake fluid, eat it through anything. So we tried to put JB Weld right here in this connection area. It didn't work well to us. So we're gonna end up replacing again with a 240 centimeter OKO, which is owned by SSPG brake line. These are good brake lines. It's just that I happen to have a bad one. So it happens out of batch. So this is brand new. There shouldn't be an excuse why this would also break off in that area as well. You know what really holds is like it's welded on here. I'll show you. Keep the engine running. Buy me some time so we can check it out in another, what, 6-7 minutes, and see if the oil starts spatting out. One thing could cause it, maybe, because there's not enough oil this time. Who knows? You can see here, it poured out almost, I think it poured out at least close to 350 milliliters. And you know, oil, they don't really, you can see here. So when I fill this oil up here, you know, a lot of people think that I overflow the oil. Overflowing the oil doesn't mean it's going to come out that much, you know. If the minimum I overflow, let's say here it goes 750, it's about this mark right here, between 800 and 700. I think I might have actually typed it in to about 800, oh, you can hear the engine actually kind of calming down its own, which is a good thing actually. We want it to idle down like that. Very good thing. Okay, so going back here again. So about 750 is about right here. This is where you want to fill your oil all the time, like this mark right here. And then on the dipstick, you'll see it pass a whole bunch of little XXX. You might want to raise it up just a little bit past it. That's how your 750 mark is normally. It's spudding. Spudding, not sure if it's because it's out of gas almost. Check our gas line. Holy, no, this gas line is still full. There's a little bubble that came through. So I know there's, at first I thought it was just clear. No, the gas line's cool. Engine looked like it's idling down. This is probably where you want it to rest at actually. You don't want to hear your engine keep on revving, right? You want to eventually idle back down. You want it to be like, you know, once it's all synced with its pistons and its valves and everything's finely tuned, it's getting enough fuel, enough air, you'll see it come from like to, you know, it's like it's in sync with each other now, all the components. And that's what we're trying to get at. That's why when we're tuning it, we're mixing the air and fuel just to get everything in sync. You know, everything's properly fed. Not dry, not thirsty, not exhausted, just properly fuel, lubricated, thread. I mean, you need the both compression, air, fuel mixture correctly in order to get this everything synced. So I think we're about there, even though my gas tank is freaking empty. Yeah, you don't really want to beat the bottom of the barrel here, but right now I have no choice. So yeah, I'm not sure I have enough fuel here to actually get this guy going over. So that might be what's causing it also. But I think there's fuel lines in here too. By the way, your fuel gets sucked too, by the way. It's not like you're depending on gravity alone. You can see here, mine actually doesn't even curve directly slanted. It's more like parallel here. And then still the fuel is being sucked in. Crankcase ventilation. Everything's going good. This is probably hot. Actually, you know, oh yeah, it's hot. My finger didn't feel it until a while. All right, bolts here. The bolt here is hotter because it's directly to the cylinder head. All right, 2 more minutes and we have 40 minutes into this one, and we're gonna see when the oil acts up. Normally it acts up around 40 minutes into engine starting and warming up. We haven't really given some throttle, so let's do that. I'm just gonna turn this guy here. Give him a little throttle juice. You see here the RPM, ideally if your tachymeter is working, you want to be probably between 1.5 to 2 RPM at idle. But since ours is not working, we can't really say. We just got to go by sound. All right, 1 more minute. It will go ahead and break the 40-minute threshold on the engine being turned on. So far, nothing's acting up. Because last time at about 40 minutes or so, I remember the oil starts spurring back up. You can see here it's sort of trying, but not really. It doesn't have enough oil to really get back up there. So that's a good sign. Oh yeah, let's go back here. We'll give it a couple more minutes just to make sure it's past the 40-minute mark. If our engine's backing up. So far so good. To sacrifice a finger. No, I'm kidding. I'm really not willing to sacrifice any body parts, to be honest with you. All right, I just want to see how hot things are. Now you can have a little gun to give you a little bit of accuracy, so you'll have to take my word for it. I don't have one of those fancy heat guns. This is getting warm. I call it jacuzzi hot. How about that? Jacuzzi warm, jacuzzi hot, or somewhat the same. Jacuzzi warm. I'm not going to stick my finger into the exhaust. That's what you're asking. The exhaust pipe. The exhaust muffler, no problem. This guy here, he's jacuzzi warm actually, not even jacuzzi hot. But when you get close to here and stuff like that, oh, that is hot right there. That's jacuzzi, well that's not jacuzzi hot. That's hot. This right here, burn you right away instantly. So I'm not going to go do that one. Oh, you can see the engine? It's kind of putting on its own. There it goes. This is the 40 minutes here. It passed already now. We're about 42 minutes into recording. And so far the engine hasn't what do you call that? We might have our actually good tune. Let's try something else out. Just let's see if we can wake up the, you can see it's actually calmer now. I hear it. It's almost like a quiet noise. I didn't do anything to it. We just kind of left it alone. Let it kind of get back to its position. Now it's kind of putting on its own now. Let's see. Maybe the gas tank is almost empty. Who knows? Now it's roaring up again. And again, I'm not doing anything to it, see? That's why it's kind of really hard to tune it by ear, because sometimes your engine acts up on its own without you even touching it. But what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and touch the knob here and see if I can go ahead and lean it back, meaning I'll give more power to the throttle when it needs it. So what I'm gonna do is take this guy off the throttle, so the throttle is more sensitive next time when it pulls. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it counterclockwise. That means allowing this guy or his inner lining or pin in there to go in a little bit more deeper. So that way when you pull it, you'll get the most sensitivity. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna back it out counterclockwise. Counterclockwise, again, is this way. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it like this. Oh, well, you can't tell, I'm rubbing it counterclockwise. Rubbing it from left to right. Oh, I'm sorry, right to left. Right to left, here we go. Slowly, okay? A little turn. And stop and listen. There you go, just a little bit. Okay, do a little bit more. A little bit, niche by niche. So far, there's not enough motor oil, or it's just not really coming out anymore, which is a good sign for us. But I think a good sign will actually do what the user said there in the comment. Take out the valve cover and see if it's splatting out oil at all on the camshaft area. If it's not splatting out oil, that means the oil pump, it's not allowing it to have enough pressure, back pressure, to create oil to force out. But in my situation, again, is I have the oil pump adapter that's going from the underneath the drain bolt, not actually right there next to the oil pump itself. So it might maybe work a little differently. Who knows? There's so much scenario. I'm gonna back it out some more. I shouldn't do this actually, because I know I'm gonna have a hard time starting the scooter again. There we go. I'm idling down. Idling down. Look at that noise. You hear it? Sounds a little different, huh? A little bit more calmer, but almost dying. So we gotta be careful between sounding calmer and almost about to die. It means like it's on his last breath, like There we go. I'm gonna go keep going. Let's see. You can tell the difference between actually thinning it out too much. See, there's bubble in the line now. That means it's getting to a pretty low gasoline line. It's kind of cool to watch the CVT cover do its thing. I'm glad we actually didn't put a tight chain, because I think it'll probably put some pressure on this, you know, this rocker arm shaft eventually in the long run. So right now the chain is just enough to pull, and the cam chain tensioner is enough to make sure it doesn't slack off. So balance it out. Okay, I'm gonna lean out some more. There you go, see that? It's putting. I mean, I do want my engine to be quiet a little bit, but you don't want it to be like almost, you know, almost dead quiet. It's not an electric scooter, by the way, so it's got a lot of bell and whistles that we gotta tune. Electric scooter will probably be quiet. You can't even the engine on. It doesn't have belts or anything like that. See, this is idling down a lot here. And you can start seeing white smoke. This that's an indicator that you're going so lean, not getting enough fuel mixed into the air. I'm not seeing white smoke yet, nor am I seeing my oil act up. So here we go. I'm turning quite a bit now to the left, almost backing out the whole screw. Oh shit! Look, I'm turning quite a bit. I'm still turning it. I'm turning all the way back out already, and still not actually killing the scooter. Normally this would kill it. Interesting. Huh. Sounds quieter. Very quieter. Again, this is a full turn and a quarter, and we backed out the idle knob quite a bit already, like right here. I mean, all the way to the point where it's probably gonna pop out if I do any more, so I better not. I'm about to screw off, I mean, you know what I mean? I pretty much counterclockwise it quite a bit. Let me go ahead and rev the engine. See how much slack? It's the same, it doesn't create any more slack here. This is just pushes the needle up and down here. It just forces the needle to go down more, almost like closing it. So here we go, I'm gonna open up the needle by throwing this throttle. That's why they call this a throttle knob, because it works with the throttle, sort of. Or you can call it the idle screw, or that's why they call it idle jet or main jet. I mean, idle jet, slow jet, or pilot jet. I'm gonna tug on it a little bit, give it some gas. Yeah, it doesn't even want to react fast enough, so I better, even though it's quiet. Let me go ahead and turn it back. I'm going to turn it back here now. I'm going to turn it clockwise. So I'm going, you can see my thumb print here. See how my thumb's coming up to the front? I'm turning it clockwise now back. I mean, the throttle's not even reacting much. Look, I could pull it quite a bit. By the time it really reacts, you hear a little noise. The other one was like right away, it almost jerked. So yeah, you want to go ahead and turn this all the way back now, clockwise. So I'm going to go ahead and enrich it further. The oil's still not acting up, so that's a good sign. There we go, until I turn it. It sounds pretty good. It doesn't seem like it's too dying, and it doesn't seem like it's too raving. So I dial back my idle screw or my throttle screw clockwise just to tighten it, and I think this might be a good one. Let's see. Let's give this a tug. See how it... There you go. Let's go do this a little bit more. Now it's roaring again a little bit. I'm backing it back. I'm going counterclockwise again because I want that calm noise. I don't want it to just like, when it roars a lot, that means it's putting a lot of stress on the engine still. You don't stress on the engine when you're idling. But you don't want it to also lean out too much where it's not doing much good for the engine either. The more air and fuel gets into the engine, the more roar it does, the more it can accelerate in RPM wise. But you want to give it enough when it's actually a state when you're like parking the scooter at a stoplight. You don't want the engine to be revving for no reason. You only want it to pick up and go quickly, but so that's why you got to tune it and balance it. And it's not good for the engine to keep on revving for no reason. Okay, this one's dying almost. I'm going back clockwise. The minute I see it counterclockwise dying, I turn it back on to enriching it some more. It's not a bad sound. A little quieter than what we had last time. Now the only way to really tell if I did it too extreme is when we actually have it cold start again, and if it has a hard time starting, that means our proper idle screw or our throttle screw is not actually rich enough. Let's see if we can actually test it out now. Okay, so it's been pretty much on for like good 50 minutes now, and the oil still hasn't really acted up, which I'm really impressed. There you go. That, or it's not enough oil, like I said again, to even come out. So far everything sounds a little bit more smoother. Our belt here. I wish I could rave it to show you how the belt actually works. So here you go, I'll do it. I'm gonna stand this here, okay? Once you see me rave, you can see how the clutch just changes position. And you can see how the belt switches from the variator being small to now the belt is majority of the variator. Okay, here we go. Let me go ahead and get this leg all situated. Okay, here we go. I'm going to pull the throttle, okay? And I'm going to have my brake system. There you go. Yeah, that guy went to fly. Oh boy. Feels scary. I thought it was pulling it okay. I even held the brakes down for this reason. But I hope you guys saw the clutch, how it kind of grips itself or changed position. Alright, so let's go ahead and tell. Right now it's still kind of putting and still vibrating like crazy here. You can't tell because the camera has stabilization probably built in, but I can tell from the naked eye. We're at 14.7, 14, oh look at that, you guys can see it now. 14.7 or 14.8 volts fluctuating. All right, so let's do this again. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and turn it a little bit more. I'm gonna idle it back further richer. But I don't want to hear that RPM raving though. See that, the more richer I get, I hear the engine being aggressive again. Which is, you know, a good thing when you want to accelerate, but not when you want to idle at a stoplight. You don't want the engine to be purposely doing that unless you're hitting the throttle. See that now, it's raving like it's being tugged by the throttle, so let's go and back it down. We're going to idle it back down, that's our goal. We're going to get to a point where it feels like it's a good air-fuel ratio mix, which we did, we agreed on. It's about a full turn and a quarter, because 2-turn would look like it's whipping out the engine. See that right there? That sounds like it's dying. It sounds totally different. So I'm going to richen it. When you're enriching it, just turn it just slightly, about a good centimeter, and just pause for a second, listen. Turn it clockwise. See, the oil here looks like it's starting to act up, but he's really not building enough momentum yet. Let's see. There he is right there. Look at that. He's getting to like a thin, you know, screw here. Now it's going back down sort of. See that? He doesn't come out in full, but he comes down in little thin strads. And then those thin strads can still deplete us, so we gotta be careful if we start seeing a whole bunch of drops going onto our muffler. I think this might be okay. Okay, now the final test will be actually turn it off. I'm gonna actually turn it off with this. How about that? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Push that little, I'm gonna push a little unlock button here. Ready? Look at that. Turn off the, I can actually turn it off with the key still, so I can kill the engine if someone took the scooter, hot wire, whatever they did. well, they hot wire, they'd probably disconnect the alarm too. But if they couldn't, let's say whatever they did to get the scooter running, and they can't use the manual kickstarter because that one's actually out. And I think you still need the key in the ignition in order to get that working. All right, so there goes. The alarm is working. Too bad it doesn't start the scooter though. I'll try it again for the sake of it. So we unlocked it already, right? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go and push the little start button here twice. 1, 2. See that? It acts like it wants to start it, but it's not. So I'm gonna turn it off because we might have a hard time starting our scooter. So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and let's find out if it starts easily. I think it starts easily now. We have to really test it out on the cold start, so we'll have to do that tomorrow perhaps when we're cold starting again, but I'll turn it on just to see what happens. Okay. Bring my little brake lever here, attachable remote. All right, hold down the brake lever. Okay, I'm gonna give it like maybe a second push. That's it, look at that. 1 second push. It started just like nicely. But again, because the scooter's already warmed up, so that's not really a good accurate measurement. Since I started back up, let's see what happens here. See that? The oil wants it down. And we're about, what, 55 minutes into recording now, or 58 minutes? Since we got the engine on. So, I never really see it splat this high before. So let me just give it a little bit more of that idle thumb screw and enrich it some more just to make sure. It seems like when I help the scooter enrich it more, the oil goes back into the engine. So I probably want to keep it like that. There you go. I lowered the light so you guys can see it. See that? It's rising up. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this clockwise. Listen in for any kind of revving noise. See that? I noticed that the oil is starting to decrease now. It's going back into the engine crankcase. And now I feel like the engine is actually being burst. It's being, you know, triggered, so I better not. See, this is a stronger humming noise, like versus like, you know, it's like, oh, I'll do it with one hand. So this is a little bit more calmer, so I'm idling back down. There you go. This is probably the calmest I can get it, but without, you know, having the other split. It still feels like a heavy chopper, though. I don't want to, you know, hum like a Harley or anything. I'm sure a Harley will be much more than this. Much more dB. So I'm going to kind of try to lower it some more. I'm going to idle it down counterclockwise. But the minute I do that, you can see the oil act up. See there, it's already starting to act up and I haven't really pinched that much. Yeah, I'm going to go clockwise back. So somewhere around here, it's probably the perfect balance. If I lean it too much, the oil kind of starts rising up. The decompression tube oil, motor oil, starts spurring up. And then if I lean it too much, but if I rave it too much, the engine looks like it's stressing, but the oil is not coming out. See, I have two whirls to actually please. So you can see here, that's leaning it, idling it down, the engine oil starts building up again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and take a little bit clockwise, going to get a richer back. Okay, I'm just going to wait. This is wait. Waiting game. Waiting and tuning. Just want to see the oil go back down its own. Because I feel like the engine has enough thrust there, but it's also not so stressed. By doing the more, I know I can get the oil to go down, but I know my engine is probably stressed. So far, it's still not doing anything right now. I still see a lot of oil dancing. Not much debris coming out of it, which is a good thing. I can't feel Can't feel it. You probably feel it more than you can see it. Okay, so it's just dancing like that. If it continues to dance like that, I'm okay with that. You know, that's what it's supposed to do a little bit. Not hot at all. Look, I only got my whole finger in there almost. I might go all the way because it might be past jacuzzi hot. Sounds quiet enough. Again, it depends on your exhaust too. It doesn't mean it's quiet because, you know, your exhaust. So I'm going to go ahead and give it some more because I look like the oil is about to act up. So I'm going to give it some more richer. I'm going to turn it clockwise, the idle or throttle screw. And this will also help me start too. The idle screw is kind of a little bit more clockwise turn, richer. Now this one I see like it's batting. See how the belt riding on the variator there. Crazy, huh? See how it spins faster and faster. Okay, I'm idling back down. I can't decide between this one or counterclockwise this one, but you can hear it. Clockwise, counterclockwise, somewhere right there. Now counterclockwise some more. Counterclockwise some more. I think between right there would probably be okay. The idea is to get your air fuel mixture just right when it has high peak RPM, then dial back down your throttle screw here or your idle screw. So I think that's what we did. So I guess this will be it for now, and then tomorrow we'll figure out something else. Maybe we'll try this some more. Any suggestions you guys have in the comment, I will try as long as it's within reason and logic. I will try to let you know why I probably wouldn't do it, and I'll probably let you know why I think that might be a possibility. Okay, so thank you guys for watching NCY Store Michael. I know I'm dragging my feet from having to take this off, but I will definitely do that. I think there's something else I might have to come up with or get something started. But anyway, I'll check you guys on the next video, okay? We're gonna go and shut this bad boy off for now. Okay, let's go and we can either use the kill switch would do it, or turn our key off, or hit the unlock button on the remote, whichever choice we use. We did this already. Let's make sure everything tested out good. Let's hit our kill switch. There we go. Looks good. Okay, we can take out the keys, or we can take out the keys too. That's another way to kill it, if I didn't mention it already. All right, so wasn't too bad. So tomorrow when we actually turn it on again just to try it out, we'll see again about where we're at. So now we kept it at a full turn and a quarter versus the full turn. I think that will be a safe bet, because what it is the full turn and a quarter will assure that we did give it enough that we could have without the engine dropping its RPM. So we did a full turn and a half, and that felt like it was going downhill. You know, it looked like it dropped its RPM. And we did 2 turns, that looked like it was dropping its RPM for sure. And then we did 2 turns and a half, and that felt like it was dropping its RPM. So with this turn here, these guys, so we did quite a few to it. So again, just a recap of what we did. When we went, sorry, this is getting warm. Let's see where it's at right now. It should be like laying flat like this because it's a quarter turn anywhere. Okay, so this is a quarter turn. Okay, so this would indicate that it's a half a turn. Okay, or another quarter turn could be. Okay, so we did. Okay, let's go from start. We did this. This was when it was. This is position of it being closed, like all the way when we turn it righty-tighty. We righty-tighty it all the way right here. When we backed it out, we counterclockwise it. So we went. Hope you guys can see my screwdriver just right in that light. So we did this. That's half a turn, right? And we did another one of that. That's another half turn. That makes it a full turn. And then what we did now, after that, we did this. We went only like this way. And that's a quarter turn. And you see here where my slot is? It should fit that groove of the quarter turn. See there? Might be slightly a little off, but it's there. See that? Because it wasn't a full, like this kind of really way. It was much like this. This is actually where we started right here. This is righty-tighty where we started, okay? Like right there. Not like a complete like this. I only did that for indication. But it was like more like right there. Okay, so we backed it out after it was already righty-tighty, all the way flushed in. We went, see if I can do this without going outside the shadow. That's half a turn. We went another, going out of the shadow again, I apologize. Anyway, you guys get the idea, right? That was another half a turn. And then we went slightly, another quarter turn, we went like this. Or like this, because it's not balanced all the way. And if you see it, it should fit that groove about right here. See there? Because we did half a turn, a quarter turn like this, because it was more like inclined like this position, I'm sorry. Like this when we started. So quarter turn wouldn't go all the way flat like this because we started reference-wise more like this. So our quarter turn is more like this. It has to be up like this. So if I take this screwdriver and go parallel to it, should fit right into the slot. See, there we go. So that was it. That's where we last left it at. We had full turn and a quarter on a OKO PWK 30mm carb with a 125 main jet. Just remember your main jet is going to be the 3-digit number, and then if you ever forget, your slow jet is going to be a 2-digit number normally. So the 2-digit number, again, ours is 42, which is our slow idle main, aka jet, pilot jet. And then our main jet is the higher 3-digit number, which is 125. And that's what we utilize here on this 30mm carb with the 32mm opening here on the Naruku. And then it also has a pretty big opening here that fits perfectly, gasket as well as the big bore kit on the 232 Tata cylinder head connected, which works fine with the 180cc SSPG piston cylinder jug and piston 63mm. So I guess we got that on, and a 30mm K&N cone-shaped filter, which is made from sort of like a paper, other than like the uni filter, which is made from like polyurethane and so forth. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and give this guy a rest because I'm about to get started on taking this front panel on. I'm always rationalizing like, oh, let me wait till all the parts come in. I haven't got the front fork yet. I actually haven't. That's scheduled until the 20th. But there's no reason to, right? Because once the front fork's in, you should have the brake line already dealt with. So I have not cop out. But oh, by the way, I did not even show you what I was going to take out and show you the ends of the Hoka brake line. So let me do that. We already got this covered, right? I put only about 800 milliliter, so don't assume I put the whole quart plus more. I added, might be about 4 ounces to, I think it was, but you know what, I estimated only basically because I thought the hose, since it was like this thick, the NCY oil cooler hose, you can see there, but it's actually pretty small. It's almost the size of a 3/16 inner diameter, really, inside. So they're almost equivalent to this size right here. That's what's actually even smaller than that. They're probably more equivalent to, yeah, this size right here. So inside it was not that big as we think of like the decompression. It's actually more like this right here, the oil cooler. So there's not a lot, and then when you get into the radiator part, it's just very thin, you know, films and stuff. So not sure if I can come inside again like I did last time, right? Oh yeah, I can't. And when this was off, I could have. So yeah, so that was it. So I probably put less than maybe 3 ounces the most. I know you can convert that to milliliter. But then again, remember when we took it off and we changed the wires crisscross each other? All of it poured back out anyway, right? For the majority of it, only a few left in the hose line. So there was probably less than 1 ounce, or the most 1.5 ounces of extra oil in there. That doesn't compensate for how much oil poured out. So it wasn't really overflow. So the most I probably put in there with all the oil receding out before this decompression tube, I would say closer to our true, probably like around there, maybe 775 milliliter. But I think what poured out, at least poured this much out, I think, if I'm looking at it correctly. If I'm thinking we have left in there this much. and that's what's really cycling through everything. It's recommended if you do use an oil cooler, you want to get to at least closer to about 800 milliliters max. And I think when we started it with all the poured out of changing our hose from crisscrossing, it came out on its own. We started at 775, and then when the first attempt to start the engine with the decompression tube, that thing just poured out. I think it took at least 200 millimeter, so it went further right here. And then yesterday's event, just before this video, I think it took it to another, that's much right there. And then today it didn't really come out much, but it's just a little slow mist cleaning itself. So we're probably pretty much close to this 400 still. So with this much left right here, you can see the whole bottle now, the width of it. It's not a lot of oil. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it's probably around the same oil left as remaining here. Again, this is a new oil here. So you can see here, we started this oil here, it gave us a full quart, probably around this right here, right? And this is how much is still left in this new quart. And remember again, I even took a vacuum and blew out every bit of it out, remember? We did a vacuum and we kind of blew all the oil out. So, and then we tapped it some more. So this is all that's left of the same motor oil quart here. See that? We have a lot left. And this is still the new quart of motor oil. So it can't be that I put too much more oil in there, because this is the only thing I used. This is the same quart I used to fill a little bit of the oil cooler reserve, or attempted to, and pour 750 milliliters into my, engine. And since then, with, I guess, the improper tuning or whatever, it's causing the oil to flow out much. But what we're going to do is I'm going to try to tap it. And I'm going to tap it. I'm going to try to get to 750 again. I'm going to use this and just pour 750 more on top of it. I'm going to use my dipstick to indicate, because it just passes that XX on a dipstick, which I wish I just had the dipstick here to show you. See if I still have it laying around somewhere dormant. I think I might have wiped it clean and put it somewhere. Maybe it's in here. If I was a dipstick, where would I be? It's cleaned and everything already. Or supposedly cleaned and everything already. Anyway, yeah, we might even change this to NCY turbo fan. That would be pretty neat. Oh. Okay, there's our bleeder brake. I cleaned this guy up already, ready to bleed the front brakes. He was a mess back then. He still is here, messy. Huh, I don't know. I put in a Ziploc? Nope, I just put our dielectric grease in a Ziploc. But yeah, if I had the dipstick there, I'll show you again the marks. And I'm going to need it anyway, so once I'll find it, I'm not worried about it. When that time comes, we'll put it in there and we'll see what gives. I might have put it in here maybe. I know I wiped it clean. I must have put it somewhere. That's me putting things away nice and neatly, where I can't even find it. Alright, so Michael from NCY Store. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks again for watching and helping me comment on this issue. I forgot. Got distracted. I was going to show you guys a tip with this guy here. So he comes with a little silver area. So let's go and open him up. I would like to open these carefully so that way I can look back at the lettering, or if I forgot the instruction. There we go. See there, this is this nice tip there. This is the brake line for the hydraulic brake line. They're pretty much the same. I heard that you can use them. Actually, the screws is like a safety cap. I was trying to tug it out. I don't want to put more pressure on this guy. Oh, that's okay. That's a good way of testing out, see if he's going to be even lasting. Alright, so there it goes. You can see here's hollow. So brake fluid can go in there. And I guess what cracked was something right here that fled through here. Even though we sealed this guy off, I think the crack is still somewhere right here. So it's actually something that was embedded in there. You can see this one's actually securely tied on there. So I'm not sure we're supposed to put this guy over this one, or even stretch this guy over this one. Maybe it was a little bit of our fault. We can use this rubber here to go over this guy. But what we're going to do for this one, you can see here on the last one we did. See that? I moved it, and even though luckily this one didn't break, but you can see here, this guy right here, he was moved over to cover this guy. Now I could do the other one the same way like that one, but we'll probably not, just to make sure that we didn't force this rubber one on enough. I don't think the shield would actually be the cause of it to make it like weak. I think it was also a defective connection there, or whatever it was supposed to be soldered on there. But it wasn't leaking on this end, it was leaking on this other end. And if you notice the other one, the old Chinese, not the old one, but the original brake lines, they usually use like the green one, and then they have rubbers and stuff attached to it. So this is actually stainless steel, I guess, metal braided, stainless steel braided or something like that. Can't feel it because it's actually kind of covered up with its clear rubber there. But this is all the little pack they give you. You have to use your existing banjo bolt, but instead of having those little rubber inside these green ones, let's see if I can find one here to show you. There you go. See that one? Instead of having the green one and with the little rubber inside, I guess what they used before, they just used some steel ones with a little rubber. But instead of doing that, they figured, you know what, why don't we just create a little soft, you know, copper washer that smashes and seals it without having to use that rubber part. You know, a little less point of entry. So that's why these guys here, which already have some open, so I'm probably not going to open these guys up though. But what they do is they crush them. See that right there? They're soft enough where they can, like, you know, like aluminum foil, it'll take shape to wherever this guy is being compacted. So it has a seal from here and a seal from here. So they even seal this up. It's a very nice cable, you know, it's very secure, good quality. It's just I had to happen to have a bad part. It happens out of the batch. But there you go, you can take it off. See that? And you can see the hole opening there where the brake fluid will squirt out. And I guess this one's also the same way, how you thread it out. Or actually you can pull this one out. There it is, nice banjo bolts. In fact, we might, well, since I already, what do you call that? Put, I think, I'm just gonna replace the whole thing new with this new banjo bolts, so we're good there. But we'll save the banjo bolts of this guy here. There's no need for us to throw away the banjo bolt, but the hose line is, once that little area there is damaged, like I did this part here, we'll probably won't move the insulator up like this anymore. Once you move that part, or this thing gets broken, not because I moved that part, but once this thing gets broken, this whole hose line it's repairable only with the, you know, proper profession that they can do and solder it correctly. But if you were trying to crimp and JB weld it, I tried it. It did not work for me one squat bit. So JB weld did not do the brake line any justice. So you see my other video there. You can give it a shot. Maybe you won't be wiggling your brakes like I did last time trying to get my handlebar fixed, and that might work a little bit. But I kid you not, it's going to be a struggle to replace it again. So you might as well replace it once you have the cover off last time. I had that opportunity and I thought that was a pain in the butt to get 2 or 3, you know, tie straps off. Now I got to remove the whole cover off and still get the tie strap off. So that's it, Michael from NCY store, and that covers our tuning for today. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Bye bye.